So let's just give us all a cleanse, because these energies are pretty heavy lately. So let's just, let's cleanse the shit out of these energies. Don't know if you're feeling it, but I sure am. I'm an energy healer, you know, so feel energy, feel it before it's coming for the collective. So yeah, messing with us again, spirit. That should be enough. This reading is the second time I'm doing it. So the reading that I did do, Spirit said to me, don't post it. So I was like, why, Spirit? It's just took me an hour. And he was like, it's too long. So they're telling me to, you know, keep it shorter. I'm like, well, you're the one that's channeling through me, Spirit, so how can I keep it shorter? But yeah, that reading, for some reason, would not, just don't post it. So let's get straight into it. So if you know me and you follow me, welcome. If you know me, that I get messages through songs and music, twin flame telepathy. Spirit communicates with me that way. They also communicate with me, automatic writing. That's also a gift that's returned to me. So yeah, let's just get into the reading. So crystal was the word that was coming through, and Fleetwood Mac song, crystal, the crystalline knowledge of you. I kept getting through, so I was like, yeah, I've heard that song before. You know, these songs, pretty much my soul's heard them before. So I wrote down, started automatic writing, and I wrote, so crystal to me is something magical, clear, fragile, something you have a deep knowledge of, can see through, you know, crystalline. So one thing amongst many of my knowings when I started to awaken up was a deep knowing of my awakening was connected to another person on this earthly realm, you know. Also the deep knowing it was spiritual, something I've not experienced before in my life, and I knew it was taking me on a long journey of self-discovery, discovering new things about myself, discovering new things about this connection. And it was taking me on a journey, and it was a self-discovery journey, and it was my spiritual awakening. And a tower hit my life at that point, you know. That crystalline knowledge that this journey was sending me on, because this tower, which means everything in my life came crumbling down, you know. This tower, it was stood up firm, it was solid. My life was solid at one point, although I thought it was. Spirit had other plans. And the moon, that's what's hidden. So what's hidden for me is my crystalline knowledge of, you know, the true Ellie, the real Ellie. Not the one that's just been, you know, going through life thinking she was living. No, she wasn't. She was just existing. The true soul of me was ready to wake up. So let's get back to the automatic writing. So I remember having a clear crystal knowing that what was happening in my spiritual realm was, you know, because I was getting a lot of downloads, I was getting the telepathy, I was getting vivid dreams, psychic visions, visions of things coming, you know, months before coming, then they would happen, things like that. It was picking up. It's getting a lot of signs, you know, that something spiritual was going on. And yeah, you know, like I'm on the earthly realm, but I could also feel the spiritual realm, you know, that bridge. So I could feel the birth at that point very, very strongly, but I still was unsure of what was going on. That moon was still very much hiding things for me, you know, but my intuition was telling me something was coming and you weren't going to be able to stop it. This was coming. Fast forward energy was, you know, it was coming at me, and I just knew I couldn't stop it. Whatever was happening, couldn't stop it. And yeah, and I felt this energy, felt the devil, and that's not to scare anybody. But if you're a twin flame, you do know that devil energy does come after you, and it comes after you because of your light that you hold inside, but you don't know you hold this light inside of you, you know? You do. You just got to take this journey to find this light, this crystalline knowledge, you know, that's inside us all. Yeah, I felt the devil energy. That means, you know, my doubts, my fears, my ego mind, you know, all that. The devil energy was very, very much coming at me at that point also. And yeah, I had to find my strength through it. I was day by day trying to find my strength. So yeah, I remember having a clear knowledge of there was two, you know, the earthly realm and the spiritual. There was moving closer and closer together. That bridge was getting, you know, closer and closer. I'd never felt that before in my life. I was about to wake up. So I had a knowing of something inside me changing, knowing this knowledge also, and I had a knowing of my life changing forever in all areas. Yeah, you know, this point, very early stage of my twin flame awakening, my friendship, my what I knew as a friendship from talking childhood, you know, was being, yeah, it was crumbling. Let's just be honest, it was crumbling. Everything this friendship had been built on, the foundation, was crumbling. And I thought, well, what's going on here? You know, and that was putting 3 swords in my heart, because I'd built up a very, very good, emotional, strong foundation friendship for 30 something years, and that was painful, you know. And it was happening both sides, but because I am the most spiritually awakened, I was the one that had to awaken first, the divine feminine energy, not the gender. Then I had a knowing of what was coming, because I'm meant to. I'm the one that leads the path, you know. So yeah, at that point, there was a death happening, and I don't mean in a physical sense, although some days, I'm not gonna lie, my body and all the physical, the emotional, the mental, the spiritual things going on, you know, outside of myself, inside of myself, things seen, things not seen, things behind that moon. That was causing the death and a rebirth. And what the death and a rebirth was, that was the dark night of the soul for me. You might have heard about it in the spiritual community. It's very, very real. And it's very, very painful. And it causes you, you know, to feel these 3 swords in your heart. And you have the devil at your back every step of the way in that dark night of the soul. Why? Because that, you know, that's your 10 of swords. That's your 10 of swords bearing down on you. You know, you're this angel on the floor. You don't know it yet, but you've got beautiful light inside of you. You've got beautiful golden wings. But at this point, you have to be on that floor with the 10 of swords above you with the moon, everything hidden. Why? Because that is going to take you on this journey of self-discovery. When you're on that floor with those 10 of swords on your back, you want to be out of this pain. You want to be out of it. So yeah, there's times where in this dark night of the soul, you're a hermit. And you're a hermit to find your light, you know. You go into silence, solitude. Spirit takes you away from the outside world. Why? That is your deepest healing. You cannot heal with outside noise, you know. You have to go inside of yourself. It's all inside. Everything you search for is inside. So I'll get back to the automatic writing. So yeah, my intuition was online. Very, very, very strong. My intuition was, you know, pretty much on point at this stage. Knew something was coming, still hidden behind that moon, but my intuition was right, you know. Everything I've ever felt was coming has come. Everything that's happened the way it's happened has happened. That's for my book one day, because I keep saying to write a book, and I will do one day when the timing is right. It's all about divine timing on this path also. But first, that wheel has to turn. You know, you have to go forward. You have to forward momentum. Keep turning that wheel. Keep taking strides on this path. No matter as painful as it gets with these 10 swords, you've got to. Devil at your back, devil at your side, devil at your front. All angles, judgment. Yeah, very much judgment. Get a lot of judgment on this path. Why? Your family think you're going crazy. Why? Because you're acting strange. Yeah, you do act strange because you've got all this going on, and this is nothing compared to what you go through, you know. These cards can't tell the real story. Yeah, you're acting strange, right? Your life's turned upside down. It's crumbling. Everything you've ever known, your beliefs, you know, the faith you've had in people, you start seeing through all the lies. You start seeing through all of that. It's crumbling. Your life is crumbling at that point, and it's crumbling to build it back up again, you know, stronger. That foundation was never that sturdy, although you think it was. It isn't. This awakening shows you what true, strong foundation is. Yeah, judgment. Judgment comes from all angles. You're crazy, you're voodoo, you're witch, you're all that. Da 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 da. I've heard it all. I get that. I don't judge people for judging me. That's not how I'm built. I'm on this path for a reason, because I'm empathic. Always have been. I've always tried to see the other side of what that person's going through. It's a very, very rare gift, actually, and I used to get called very sensitive for having these gifts. I know I'm not sensitive. I'm empathic. I feel people, feel environments. And I was about to discover I had a lot more inside of me. So I want me to get to this. So my intuition was very online, and I had a crystal knowing of I was energetically connected to another, you know, soul level. Yeah, I knew it was spirit, no? And you know that. I had some quite, yeah, out of body experiences, you know, all of that. I was experiencing it all. And I knew it was connected to this friendship. Knew that. Knew it all along. Knew what was coming. It's a seer in me. It's my gifts. It wasn't as strong back then. They are now. Now I've found, you know, my magic. I found this light inside of me. I found the magic in me. I've alchemized all of this. You become the alchemist. You are a magician. We all hold this inside of us. Every one of us. It's not just me. We all hold that within us. But let's get back to this. They're saying, I love you passionately, but you can't get down of it. I'm like, well, I was just watching Netflix and you got me doing a reading, spirit. I was going to chill tonight. But yeah, so I had a crystal knowing I was energetically connected to another. Unlike anything I'd experienced before. And, you know, my intuition on point at this time. So this early stage of my awakening, I knew it was mystical. I knew it was magical and altogether life altering. Yeah, I knew that something as hard as what I was experiencing and going through was leading me on a very different path than I'd ever been before. And I knew that it was a path where I was going to find myself truly, you know, find my strength, find the love for myself, find my magic inside of me, spiritual gifts, you know. I knew all that. It's a seer in me. It's already inside of me. Just didn't trust it back then. I'd not done this journey enough, you know. I'd not got through the dark night of the soul at this point. I still had these 10 swords above me. This moon hiding things, not uncovered it all. I've not done enough bridging. You know, that heaven and earth, that connection to birth. Not done that. I was about to. Kept going, kept forward moving. And there was times like this, you know, long winter. In the dark night of the soul, you're on your own, and it feels like the coldest winter and the longest winter of your life. And it's meant to, because it takes you there. That saying, you know, breaking you down to build you up, breaking you down to break you open. Yeah, you have to go through times like this though. But this card holder, she looks lonely. She looks, you know, all on her own in a cold place. This wise old owl reminds me of my guardians. You know, there's always guardians around us. You know, she doesn't look like she's noticing that at that point. I wasn't. I thought, I'm on my own here. Somebody help me. Get me out of this dark night of the soul. I don't want to feel like this anymore. It's too painful. It's too cold. I just, you know, want to go back to sleep. No, it's time to wake up. And then I started hearing my guards. Started hearing my angels guiding me. Started having signs, you know, synchronicities. There was leaving little nuggets for me. I call them little golden nuggets. And I was waking up to that. Yeah, my magic was waking up at that point. So I knew it was about love. I knew it was about the rarest kind of love. You know, like when you're hearing the fairy tales, Snow White, Beauty and the Beast, all of that. I knew it was pretty magical and mystical, you know. I've watched enough fairy tales. And if you follow me, you'll know that I'm a storyteller. And yeah, as a child, I used to write stories. And, you know, when you want to leave your normal life behind, you know, as a child, you're going through things. You take yourself away to another world, don't you? I used to do that quite often. I was a storyteller. But as I got older and older, and life got, you know, harder and harder, and you get into that place of go, I stopped storytelling, you know. I lost that magic inside of me. I did. And this path has brought all that back to me. It's brought my magic back. It's brought my imagination back. It's brought my storytelling back, you know. So that's how my guides want me to tell my story, my journey of how I healed, my, you know, why I'm sharing this is because I'm through this journey now. You know, I'm out the other end, still on it, but I'm out the other end. I'm out the dark night of the soul. Won't ever go back in there again. I've healed all that. You know, my mindset's different. Balanced that ego out, not eradicated it, balanced it, stable. You know, you need your ego and you need the divine also. Them two go together. It's powerful. You know, when you find that about yourself, and you've had this magic and these gifts inside of you all the time, but they've been hidden. It's a freeing thing. You know, it frees you from many things. Frees you from control, suppression. Frees you from judgment. Yeah, it's just very freeing. But I'm not off the journey. Still on it. But I'm out the darkest parts of the journey. I'm out that winter. I'm out that dark night of the soul. I've had my death and my rebirth. That won't happen again. I am reborn. You know, that phoenix rising from the ashes. That's this journey. That's why you go through it. So yeah, I knew it was, you know, so magical. But very painful, very frustrating, very confusing, very different. Things I'd never experienced before in my life. Yeah, it was all of that. So what I didn't know is the part that it was about finding the love for myself and a journey of self-discovery. Because at that point I was still wondering why I felt this magnetic pull, this energy pull to, you know, yes, my best friend, but why it was that powerful, you know. And I was still focusing on, because I was still focusing on healing my ego mind and wondering where my friend's gone and why has this happened to me, you know, that ego mind. I was still focusing on that. I wasn't focusing on this journey was a journey, you know, to discover myself. At that point, by the end of the journey, you discover that it is a journey to discover yourself. It's a journey to bring you back home to yourself, but your true home, not the home you had before. You know that you're never going to return there again. If you caught my Dorothy story, Yellow Brick Road, yeah, she takes that journey, but she doesn't return home the same person. She goes home. Home is where the heart is. That's definitely the right saying, because what you do find on this journey is your heart, but you find your sacred heart. So the person I was before, yes, she knew she had a heart. That heart was this. I had 3 swords in it a long time before I woke up. But what you do find is your true heart, you know, sacred heart. So let's get back to this. And the path I was on, you know, I was being directed into a completely different direction. Yeah, 2 swords pointing that way, blindfolded. I knew I was going places. And I knew it was going to take me places I'd never been before. Just couldn't see where at this point. You know, it's like crossroads, didn't know which direction to take, didn't know where there was pointing me to. That moon was pretty still, you know, in the shadows. So for me, this song line, I wrote, the crystal lake and clear water, fountain and crystalline knowledge. So that symbolises a state of awareness, purity and my spiritual path. And you know, at this stage, I was awake to this magical connection completely. Could feel this crystalline knowledge inside of me getting stronger and surfacing more. And my gifts, you know, my clairaudience, my clairvoyance, the magic to this path. And there is a lot of magic. In fact, this path is to find your magic, your light. And by magic, I mean your love, your strength, your passion, you know, all of that. But you do find very, very magical spiritual gifts that return to you, you know, your soul gifts. So your seer, you know, your clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairsentience. Gifts like that return to us. What we hold inside of us, they return. That's the magic I'm talking about also. But there's other kinds of magic. It's that love, that unconditional love for yourself. You find that on this path. Then you find that for others. You start sharing that out to others. And that is what this path's about. Taking this journey to help others. But yeah, at this stage, I was having dreams, visions, hearing, feeling signs from spirit. I mean, to be honest, throughout all of this journey, I get all of that. Some stages might go a little bit quiet. You know, I might go into this hermit again. And Usually that's because I'm integrating the energy work that I've done prior to it, and it's got to integrate, you know. And then there's times where spirit will go, come on, chop chop Ellie, we've got things to do, you know, turning that wheel, fast forward momentum. It can go either way. There's times where you need silence, solitude, healing, and then spirit wants me, come on, let's get this done. Like, yeah, I know this path, been on it over 7 years now. They told me from childhood, but because as a child I was numbed down, the saying, you know, as children we're not awake, you know, to it. I wasn't, until this tower happened, woke me right up, this twin flame connection. So yes, if you're a twin flame soulmate connection, you remain ageless, meaning it's a love or spiritual bond that transcends time, physical, all of that. Yeah, I knew that this bond was, yeah, it was different. There's no way of not knowing. You know that you're the mirror. You're the mirror for each other, you know, mirror souls. You're also a mirror for others, you know, so these mirrors was held up to us. So I woke my twin, she woke me up. But by doing this journey and healing yourself from waking up, you also hold these mirrors up for others, you know. So I'm a light that reflects the shadows in people, meant to trigger. Get that? First I wasn't comfortable with triggering people, but if I'm being honest, I've done it all my life. I know why now, you know, so at least I know why I've had situations happen where I've triggered people and thought, wow, what did I say? What did I do? Something inside of them that I've triggered. I've held that mirror up to them. I spoke the truth. I'm a truth teller, the saying, truth teller. I speak the truth, you know, shame the devil, that saying, yeah. And yeah, throughout many times of my life, childhood also, I triggered people. It's meant to. It's meant to show what's available inside of them also. I show people the light. That's what it is. I show them the shadows to show them the light. Yeah, trigger. So there were times I could hear my twin, feel the emotions, still do. It's very, very powerful connection. Doesn't die off, just gets stronger. More healing you do. Yeah, gets strong, very, very strong. You know, it's that red thread, that connection with the same frequency, very rare, same frequency, always connected, time, space, all of that, you know. You always loop back around to each other, you know, that infinity, you know, that infinity loop. It's always meant to come back around. I also knew that. And yeah, when I knew my twin was coming in, felt the energy, felt the shifts, telepathy was revving up, my twin returned. And it was not a surprise because my intuition is on point because of all the healing and the magic I've brought back to myself. You know, it was always there, but I just had to heal, take this journey, take these 3 swords out my heart, get away from other people's judgments on my path, on, you know, who I am as a soul. Heal these 10 of swords above me, become an angel, not a fallen angel. And they say I've got my wings now. I've earned my wings, they're saying. I've earned them. And yeah, you know, did that by turning this wheel. Did it by going forward, not looking back. No looking back. The past has gone. The future, you don't know what's coming. You stay in the now. That is how you create momentum, you know. That's how you manifest also. That's how you become the magician. That's how you alchemize. But yeah, saying get back to this. So yeah, that infinity, you know, it was always going to come back around. I knew from day one, from over 7 years ago, you know. It's just a knowing. This path, it's a knowing. And yeah, so in times of separation, I knew it was all going to come back around. How I knew? You just know. It's that crystalline knowledge. You know, I'm not going to sing because my throat's been hurting lately. But yeah, that song, you know, that crystalline knowledge of you, you know, you know. You know, and this soul connection, it's different. It's different. Also, I knew I had to do the spiritual work to heal, and by healing myself, I felt my twin healing. You know, so your mirrors, one heals, the other heals. That's how you get through this path. You know, you heal. It's a healing journey. It's a spiritual awakening. Take the twin flame name out of it. It's your spiritual awakening, first and foremost. And it took me a long time to realise that. And the minute I started focusing on me and bringing that love back to me, bringing that compassion back to me, concentrating on taking these 3 swords out my heart, that knowing of I was healing and my twin was healing got so strong. I knew that it was returning. Yeah, I put the focus back on me instead of giving. I was an overgiver. I've always been an overgiver. I like to help people. It's just my nature. And to me it just came easy. It's natural. Even if people wasn't being very nice to me, I still would, you know, I could see the shadows in them, so I didn't judge them. Not saying I never judge people, because of course I did. We're human, but we're divine. This is what this path has shown me. We're human, but we are divine also. We are the two. And that's what this path has also shown me. We are that bridge, that heaven and earth. And there's realms beyond what we can see. No, without a doubt. So, yeah, this healing, I balance the scales of justice. And I don't mean anything legal. I didn't take my twin to court or anything like that. No, these scales on here, balance them out. How I balance them, I did the healing daily. It was hard, deep inner work. I had to go into my wounds, my traumas, my inner child. I had to face things from my past, not just this past, but my lifetimes, you know, and past lifetimes. Also, my family lineage. Also, all the time helping others around me. You know, this journey, it doesn't sleep. There's times where you will go into hermit mode and spirit will say it's time for rest now. But yeah, people just radiate to me because of my energy, because of who I am. So I also had to help, you know, family, friends, because when you know you're on such a spiritual calling, purpose, yeah, doesn't matter what you are going through. You have, you know, you have to be true to this calling, but also you do need your rest, and you do need to bring that love back to self, and you do need to take care of yourself also. And once I started doing that, that wheel started turning. I felt that shift. There was a time, a surrender stage, they're saying. I surrendered it. I stopped putting up that resistance, you know. I stopped going against the waves. I started riding them, surfing them. That's what I started to do. I surrendered it all. There's a point on this path you need to surrender. Give it up. Give it up to God. Let them take the wheel. And things start to settle, you know. Things started to settle more in myself, and I could feel it in this connection also. I could feel it coming back around also. That's because I'd balanced the scales. I'd done that work. I'd also balanced my divine feminine energy and my divine masculine energy out inside of self. How I knew that. Could feel it. Felt a shift in me. Could feel it in this connection. It's energy, you know, you feel it. When you're a true energy healer, there's no way of not knowing it. But you can't explain it to people because, you know, you're the one that feels it. I see things, I hear things coming prior to, you know, things coming, and what other people done. It's part of my gifts. And yeah, sometimes you're very, very lonely on this path, because when you're hearing, seeing, feeling things that others are not, you think, well, am I actually hearing, seeing, feeling things that others are not? Because why am I the only one seeing it, you know? That's what you feel like. Until you meet other people like you meet your soul tribe, you know, your soul family, come across other readers, you come across other people on your path. I met other twin flames. In fact, one particular story, a girl turned up at my stall, because I'm a candle business also, divinely guided by spirit to start my candle business up. And a young lady turned up at my stall, and I knew she wasn't there just to buy my crystals, you know, because I sell crystals. And that seeing in me, I thought, she's got a message from spirit here. What's going on here? Didn't know of the message, but I knew she wasn't there just to buy a crystal. And within a few minutes, she was testing the waters on, oh, it's good that you don't judge, isn't it? Because I could tell she was quite scared and hesitant to tell me. And I thought, no, and I remember saying, no, I don't judge people. I've been judged myself, and I don't like it, you know. I don't think anyone should judge another person. They don't know what that person's going through. She went, that's good you don't judge. And then she turned around and said, have you heard of twin flames? And the minute she said twin flame, I knew she was here to give me a message, you know. And yeah, conversation followed after that. But that was just out of the blue, you know. I'm at work, I'm on my candle still, in the market. Signs, synchronicities, spirit sends them to you all of the time, you know. I've had many strange things happen that, you know, where you just can't make it up. There's no coincidences on this path, none whatsoever. Once you're waking up to spirit, there's no coincidence, you know. You start seeing the numbers, the signs, the synchronicities, all of that, all real, you know. But the more you're waking up, the more you heal, the more that comes through, the more you bridge, you know, yourself, the heaven and earth. We are that. We are divine and we are human. We just don't know it until we bridge, you know. We do the healing. And let's get back to this thing. So yeah, I knew this connection was my spiritual awakening, and it was a catalyst, you know, to me waking up out of my sleep. Yeah, this long winter, I was asleep. We're all put to sleep when we arrive here, all of us. Why? Because if we knew the magic and the light, wow, the light that we hold inside of us, they wouldn't be able to control us, they wouldn't suppress us. So it's about control. They don't want us to know that we hold these gifts inside us. We are human and divine. We're very, very magical beings, very powerful. That's why we get put to sleep, that veil. We get put under a veil until it's our time to wake. And that's your spiritual awakening. And yeah, that was my catalyst. So yeah, what I've wrote here, what I know now, I'm through the other side of this journey, was about finding my peace, my clarity, and my purity in the chaos. Yeah, and I've wrote, so like the love that had finally found me, you know, the lines to this song, this to me represents the love inside of me. It means I had finally found that love for myself, but you know, not the love that I thought I'd had prior, unconditional love, you know. And the lines to this song, trusted my first initial feeling, special knowledge holds truth, bears believing. Yeah, you know, what woke me up? So my intuition, you know, my first initial feeling that something was different was happening, something different was coming. That was my intuition. You know, so I knew that there was a spiritual awakening happening. This twin flame was the connection. And yeah, I trusted my first initial feeling, like the song says. I'm going to leave it there because we're getting on to 40 minutes. I'm trying to keep these shorter, but it just does not happen. And yeah, there's going to be part 2. So this is part 1 of the crystalline knowledge inside us, as the song goes, crystal. And there's going to be part 2 on it. And yeah, I think that's it. So I'll speak to you all soon. Bye.